Hey there, boys and girls passionate about photography and photography gear, because yesterday I posted a review of the Nikon Z6 with the new firmware update, the 3.0, that brings better autofocus capabilities and animal eye autofocus. And I wanted to compare it with the new Sony A9mk2. And of course, because this is the usual role on my channel, I post it in Romanian, because for the people that don't know me and they are foreigners, I am from Romania, Bucharest. Dragoș Stoica is my name. We are a team of passionate photographers. We have a company here that we named it Creative Wizards. I will leave the link of our site below. So anyway, I am sorry for the people that were misled by my title, that of course didn't say anything about the Romanian language. And today I'll do specially for you another reiteration of the yesterday's clip in English. So let's cut to the chase. Today is Thursday. On Tuesday I did as fast as I could the firmware update for the Z6, whatever we call here, Z, you call it Z, whatever, for the Z6. And I wanted to compare the new focus capabilities with the focus from my new Sony A9. Just for a history understanding, I am usually a Nikon shooter. I've been shooting Nikon for the last 13 years, and I am usually very pleased with Nikon gear. I have nothing against other brands. Basically, my main job, my college degree, let's say like that, it's engineering. I'm an engineer, an automation engineer. Now I work in IT. I'm a DevOps, for the guys that know what that means. So anyway, I am a person passionate about science and technological stuff. I do not encourage you guys to be so strong with one brand in particular. There is no need for that. It's just like in the other aspects of our life. You need a car, just look at all the car producers, buy the best car that suits your needs, and it has the best leverage between costs and performance, or something like that. So anyway, I don't care if it's a Nikon, if it's a Canon, if it's a Sony, it's a Fujifilm, Pentax, Olympus, you name it. If it's Panasonic, etc., Leica, whatever. If it's good for you, if it suits your needs, if you like it, if you feel very comfortable shooting with it, go ahead, no problem. But this is for the people that care about the new mirrorless systems, in particular the Z6 versus the Sony competition, because Sony, let's face it, they are on the top of their game with mirrorless performance in the last years, especially the focus. So my main comparison here today, as I did yesterday on the last clip in the Romanian language, is between the Nikon Z6 and the Sony A9. And if you're wondering why did I choose to compare with the Z6 the A7 III, because guys, I don't have another better mirrorless, more pro body, more pro performance from Nikon yet. The Z6 is the best there is for now, and I have it. I bought it 1 year ago, especially to use it for some video stuff, because I have a lot of Nikon glass. Not necessarily the brand Nikon, not necessarily Nikon lenses. I have Sigma lenses, I had a Tamron lens, but for Nikon F mount. So I said, hey, I will buy something that will help me to easily sustain and use my current lenses. Don't buy a Sony camera just for video and have to buy a lot of Sony glass, etc. But in the last years I've been shooting with the D850, which is a great camera. In my opinion, the D850 from Nikon is the best DSLR there is. A great sensor, great resolution, great dynamic range, great color depth, great ISO performance for a 46 megapixel sensor, a very cool body, light up buttons, a cool LCD, a cool touch screen, the best autofocus for a Nikon DSLR, the one with 100 53 points, etc. But we are not here for the D850. Anyway, I've been shooting with the D850 and I had the D4 from 2012. I had the Nikon D4 for the last 8 years. I just sold it 1 week ago because after 8 years, I think that's pretty enough for a camera. When the D5 came up, it didn't impress me. I don't like ISO invariant sensors. I am sorry, I cannot debate now. It's already too long and it will get over 10 minutes. But who doesn't grasp this concept, read into it, Google it, whatever. What is ISO invariant or variant sensor? So the D5 came with the ISO variant sensor. I don't like that for my dynamic range. I know it's a camera for speed, not for dynamic range, landscape and so on, but the D4 was fine and I wanted really good successors, and the D5 didn't convince me. I settled for the D850, it was okay. The D4 kept going strong, it was perfect. But I've reached a point when I want something more. I want a focus system that tracks very well and tracks on a wide surface of the frame, and that is just one solution here: mirrorless cameras. I don't care what other DSLRs are coming up with now, like the new Canon 1DX Mark III, which is cool. It's cool because it has also face detection on sensor. It has some cool new features comparing with the last DSLRs. But the D6 from Nikon, really disappointment. So let's stop here with the DSLRs. Let's start with the mirrorless. Z6, the best Nikon mirrorless for speed, 24 megapixels, exactly like the Sony A9, 24 megapixels. What did Nikon do good in the last 6 months? In the last 6 months, they developed new firmware updates. They are trying to catch up with Sony, and that's very good. So now we have a very performant autofocus system also in the Z6. The tracking is very good. At the end of this clip, I will post another, glue another footage, later footage with the two cameras side by side with the autofocus response and reaction. So the focus in Z6 is now very good, a better tracking mode, a better use of the setup and of the buttons that needs to be pressed. You know that when it launched, that crazy go into auto area, autofocus continuous, press the OK button, you had that square in the middle, you put that square to track an object. When you lift your finger off the button, the square didn't reset in the middle, you had to push again, I think, the minus loop button. Anyway, it was really disastrous. I was like, what the fuck, where is the 3D focus from the DSLRs? Just couple something like that in the new mirrorless system and it will be perfect for us, especially old Nikon users. Now it's better because you go in auto area, in autofocus continuous, and you press OK to enter tracking mode, and that square box with the arrows is in the middle. You can put it, point it on anything you want to track, press autofocus or press the shutter halfway, it will start tracking until you release the button. When you release the button, it resets in the middle. That's cool, that's better, I can deal with that. And the new features with animal IFA and face detection and human IFA works better, works really nice. I've tested it on my cat the last days and it works really nice, and it's really pretty on par with the Sony A9. Exactly what I did with the Nikon Z6, I did with the Sony A9. And we can debate also on the lens that we use. The best way, and guys, I am telling you from an engineer point of view, the best way to use a machine is to keep it simple and to keep all the components as fit together and robust as possible. If you use other lens brands on a Nikon body, on a Sony body, just like, for example, I use now the Sigma Art series because they are great. They offer great quality over the price, and they are very good prime lenses with f1.8, f1.4. I saw that Sigma has a 35mm f1.2 for Sony mount now, and I really want to buy that one. Even that, when you use it for the correct mount, you will not get 100% the best performance, because Sony, Nikon, Canon will never sell to Sigma, Tamron, Tokina, and so on the deepest secrets from the autofocus algorithms, because they don't want you to buy third-party lenses. They want you to buy their lenses, which is perfect normal marketing. If you would be the CEO of those companies, you will want your marketing team to think like that and to push people in buying their products. Anyway, on a mirrorless system, you don't have as much as problems that you have on a DSLR system when it comes to maybe front, back focus problems, etc. when using Sigma, Tamron lenses on Canon, Nikon, Sony bodies. No, if you are using Sony E mount or Z mount, or you have even F mount and use the F2Z adapter from Nikon to use your old F mount glass on the Z6 body or the Z7, it works pretty well. I've tested them and it works pretty well. I can't complain. Having the focus in the image sensor, yeah, you have the face detection sensors in the image sensors. It's like right there in the image plane. If it focuses, it's where it should be. There is no much worry about, oh my god, maybe I have front focus, back focus, will it focus, maybe I have to align it, maybe I have to adjust something, I should test it. Okay, you can do tests, you can align it, you can Nikon Z6 and Z7 still have autofocus fine-tuning in their menus. Sony has focus fine-tuning in their menus, so it works. But if you use Sony glass on a Sony body and Nikon Z mount glass on a Z body, you should have the best focus speed and performance as possible. And another important aspect is the lens that you use, because prime lenses that are majorly designed for portrait are not the fastest lenses. They don't have the fastest accurate motors because they are not for sports. You can try to use them. I tried because I like testing and I like trying, and I like having, for example, the Sigma Art 105 f1.4. I bought it on my Sony E mount and it works really well with the A9. And I went, for example, at a football match, and it's awesome to have that shallow depth of field on the field and catch the player, and then the grass just blurs away in front and the back of him. It's cool. So you can try, you can test. But the best motors, the fastest and the most accurate silent wave motor, whatever the technology is called now by different brands, usually you find it in the zoom lenses, the f2.8 or f2 lenses, like Nikon, Sony, Canon 2470, 7200. I suppose Canon in the new RF lenses like the 2870 f2 has great focus also, etc. So I tested it at the best of my capabilities using the 35mm Z mount that I have for the Z6, and also using the Sigma 135mm f1.8 with the FTZ on the Z6, and on the Sony A9 I used the 50mm f1.4 art and 105mm f1.4 art. I don't like to have the same lens on different bodies because it doesn't bring me anything new. I just fill the gaps in my Nikon focal lengths with Sony glass when I bought the new A9. Short mention here why I bought a Sony body after all, because I wanted to replace the D4, and the D5 and of course the D6 really didn't cut in. No way. Are not worth the money, doesn't bring enough new technology and good improvements to me. So I kept to look around. I wanted to stop investing in F mount because it will go away in 10 years. I would like the new Z mount because on paper, from a mathematical and physical point of view, is the best mount. You have the largest diameter with the shortest flange to sensor distance, so it's great. With adapters you can put now any glass from Canon, Sony, Panasonic on a Z body. You can't put Z lenses on the other bodies because the distance is bigger. Anyway, so Z mount looks cool, but Nikon doesn't have yet a pro body, doesn't have enough good Z glass. Sigma still doesn't know if they will produce lenses for Z mount, which would be a shame. Anyway, so after considering and putting in balance everything, I chose the A9 Mark II, which is a great camera, Sony system. I can get used to that, and I will tell you in a minute what I don't like about Sony and what Nikon does better than Sony. Well, what I think Nikon does better than Canon and Sony and the rest, of course my personal opinion, but I know there are some other guys there that felt the same way. What Nikon does better than all of these other brands are the bodies, and the menus and the screen, the touch screen, the electronic viewfinder sometimes. I mean, let's just compare, like I said, the Z6 with the Sony A9. Z6, better ergonomics, better place of the buttons on the body. I just love the top LCD, and I loved it from 20 years ago. Top LCD is very useful, for me at least. Sony wanted to keep the body as small as possible. I think this is the main reason. So they never used a top LCD. Bummer for Sony. And what the hell is with the LCD and the touchscreen on a top performance Sony mirrorless in 2020? A9 Mark II. I expected it to see a bigger LCD, a better LCD, better image quality, better electronic viewfinder quality, and full touchscreen. I want to select the menus. I want to zoom in and zoom out with 2 fingers like we are doing on the mobile phones for 10 years now. I want to press play to review the RAWs I shoot, or JPEG or whatever, and I want the camera to be snappy. Bring up the photo, zoom in, zoom out, next photo, zoom in, zoom out, next photo, whatever. Nikon works like that. It's fast, it's reliable. It's nice to have a great LCD with great response with full touchscreen. Sony still doesn't have it, even on an A9 Mark II 2020. Sony, that sucks. So Nikon gets a really big white ball from me here. It's really cool. The best ergonomics, the best button layout on anybody in the last 10 years anyway, and great menus. Nikon, great menus. Guys from Sony and Canon and Panasonic, whatever, learn that our brain, the human brain, works better in some ways. The best way for a human being, whatever and however genius you are or not, is to make associations. If we associate colors with sounds, with numbers, with images, with whatever, the memory response is quicker and our handling is quicker. So Nikon has a menu with a nice graphic, colored, categorized, and with letter categorized. I don't remember exactly what color is A, B, C, D, but you know, if you guys look at the Nikon menu, even if you are or not a Nikon shooter, you have A, a color, B, a color, C, a color, and each A, B, C, D and different color category has some setup in it. So you can remember, oh, flash is at E, and focus is at C, and etc. And it works faster. It's a better structured menu. Sony, Canon, come on, man. Your menus are horrible. Where is that setting? Oh, where can I find it? And I will show you when I glue the future footage after I finish talking here, the difference, exactly the difference between the Sony menu and the Nikon menu. So guys, anyway, it's great news that the Nikon is updating their mirrorless cameras and the focus is catching up with the Sony. It's okay to have more than one brand in your photo bag. You can shoot Nikon and Sony like I do now. You can shoot whatever, Canon and Panasonic. You can combine your gear as long as it suits you and you do your job well and you bring to your client your best results and the best quality for the money that you get paid. You can work with any tool that you want. You don't have to stick to a brand. I know it's hard to switch from one brand after a couple of years to another, to buy new glass, to invest. But if you want to do it, if you afford it, you can do it with no problems. Guys, I will take the future footage with the cameras in front of me with the real examples. I will glue it and then post this on YouTube, and I hope the people that were upset that I didn't talk in English and the title was misleading won't be as much as upset on me as they were yesterday. Bye guys. So welcome back guys. Exactly as I said, we will do a footage with the cameras in front of us, describing more details. I really hope your ears can bear and cope with my English. If you noticed, and if you know our tennis player, women champion Simona Halep, if you listen to her at the English language speaking conference, you will for sure notice a resemblance between my English speaking and her English speaking. So guys, we will try to do better. So, as you can see, exactly what I was telling you earlier today, that we have here the Sony body versus the Nikon body. So this is the A9mk2 and this is the Z6. First of all, to take this out of my mind, Sony does a great job on grips. This is how a good grip should look like, with buttons and double controls. Sturdy, really well done grip. And Nikon has no really good grip for the Z series. It has that joke of a grip which has only 2 batteries, no buttons, no nothing. So shame Nikon for the grips. But when it comes to the menu system, as I was talking earlier, I have no touch whatsoever on the Sony. I have to do all by the joystick, and has these 6 categories with a bunch of functions that it's really hard to slip through it, 11 pages, blah blah blah. What I can do, and I like to do, it's put here in my favorite menu all the real settings that I need and I use very often. On the Nikon case, the menu is, like I said, much better organized with colors and letters. And of course, I am more used to this because of my previous Nikon experience. But anyway, the top LCD is also a great use, and direct ISO buttons. We have here also on this like Pro body A9mk2 the dedicated controls for focus modes, burst modes, shooting modes. I don't know why they kept auto. I mean, come on guys, it's a Pro body. Direct exposure compensation dial. This is great. This is good. Custom buttons. Yeah, why not? Not bad. Even the wheel, as in Canon, is nice. Is not bad. Nikon has the 4-axis joystick here. Also this one here. Not bad also. But for the menus and the touchscreen, Nikon rules. It has no competition here. No, the touchscreen doesn't work as well for Sony. Sorry Sony, Nikon has the ball here. Also in the menus, you can see right up, I can jump to whatever I want, choose, etc. Okay, let's get this out of the way, because this is not the main important stuff. Yeah, the viewfinders are decent, are okay. I cannot complain. They are manageable on both cameras, but we will stick to monitor, of course. So let's get back to autofocus. I was shooting earlier today, some of my colleagues, when we were a bunch of people in the same place in the kitchen, and I can say that Sony proved to have better focus capabilities when used in random area, autofocus continuous, and tracking the subjects. Don't get me wrong, I can for sure see I got great focus also from Nikon, but when I had a bunch of people in my way, not just one person, not like in these photos, but there one like this one. We had a combined layer of peoples, one in front of the other. This is a good example. Nikon struggled to get focus on just one face. Sometimes it jumped from face to face, and this is not really cool. Nikon has to do some more tweaks and tune-ups for their camera's autofocus system. Sony is much better in keeping the right person and the eye autofocus on it. If you can concentrate on just one person, or if you use the tracking point like here, you can see that Nikon also does a good job in tracking the subject. But that's not the only way that you are going to use the camera. This is auto area for Sony. But if I want to track exactly the subject like this, also Sony does a great job in keeping the focus on the correct subject. So great stuff that Nikon has done an upgrade. There is another room for improvement in the future, and we can't wait to see better stuff from the both camera brands. Thank you guys, have a nice day.